so good to see that play coming out from Stronger.
Right, next map's going to be Dragonshire. At this point, I mean, team wipe, some crazy drafts, anything that you can possibly predict?
Yeah, Chinese split push on Dragonshire. I mean, let's be honest here, their approach to Dragonshire is different than by far every other part of the world, and it's not a compositional justification. It is just flat out top lane split push with Dragonite over prioritized compared to every other it genuinely drags the game on for at least 5 minutes. I think every time we've seen a Chinese team play on this map, it feels like they could have ended before that point.
SPT also ran a really cool 2-1-2 versus CE in their regional that allowed them to get the victory over CE, which was Sonya Tass top and then Malf Lunar bot, pushing wherever the other team wasn't responding to.
Yeah. Well, this draft snuck up on us fast. I can't talk anymore. It's been a long day, as we do have Uther going to be banned for game number 2 here, fan, between these two teams.
Yeah, the Uther first fan getting more and more common here. The Uther is really showing himself to be one of the true MVPs of this tournament, really going into the first ban, first pick slot more and more. You know, it's just, even though there's all these insanely meta picks right now with the Malfurion, the Anubrak, the Genji, the Greymane, like, Uther is the one that either enables all of that, or he, on the flip side, he can disable that by protecting someone from that. So, you know, interesting to see how high he's risen.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a little surprised it took this long after his rework. He just, you know, he fit so many things. Like, Uther was so good in the support meta before, just because based on the fact he's one of the few supports that have a hard CC, starting out the gates with level 1. His healing, you know, we knew Guardian of the Ancient King would be a game changer. I am genuinely surprised it took all the way to the MSB to find him in this position, but I'm glad we ended up getting there, because it feels like he has found the accurate home.
The instant first pick, the Haka, no hesitation there. The Haka, one of the traditionally stronger picks on Dragonshire. He can solo the top lane and push it out and then just global gank any other lane. Pretty solid first pick for Deadlykittens.
Does SPT have to kind of try and equal that, or can they navigate around that?
I feel like they will want to play Genji again. We talked to Melody C, and he said he wanted to play Genji at this tournament, and he was very capable in the last game. It's still up.
Yeah, it's interesting. In general, again, with the lack of predictability of these teams, they could hyper-commit to like somebody to be overly concerned like with the globals, but if they do, I would actually like to see it in the later part of the draft, just because every global on this map is, outside of the Dahaka, is just a little bit too low in value to pick high up. But I mean, talking about a hero who you don't expect to be picked this high up is going to be the Nazeebo, but the deny of the Genji for the early game aggression, so hoping to make it to the later part of the game for SPT.
Considering how long the last game went, admittedly Towers of Doom, so you know, there is the potential that it just goes like that.
You would think that, right? But when we've seen Nazeebo on Dragonshire at this tournament, you're not guaranteed going to get to the late game. But in the case of the last time, I think it was the last Dragonshire we had, which was E-Star's game, it was supremely late game, and Nazeebo did do a lot of damage. So hopefully the Genji is enough to be able to counterweight that.
Yeah, you're right. The Nazeebos that we've seen so far have been ran by, one would say, lesser skilled teams against the higher skilled teams, and then just got obliterated, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not the biggest fan of picking Nazeebo this early in the draft. I thought it would be a Genji Malfurion rotation if you're just talking about pure power. So they are playing for that late game. If you get to late game with Genji Nazeebo, most likely you're just going to win it with the Infinite Dragon Blade as well as Vile Infection. That's absurd, you know, when it gets to level 20. Looks like Tyrael Greymane coming in here for Deadlykittens. Pretty strong combination. A little bit surprised that no one's still picking Malfurion. I feel like if this was an Eastern, North American or a European team, Malfurion would 100% already have been picked by now.
It does seem like, I don't know, I guess I'd have to go back and look at exactly all the drafts we experienced today, but you are right. Definitely the Western world has higher priority on Malfurion, or at least maybe not so much in the Malfurion, but definitely fear of the support choke.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Past the top two.
Yeah. Right, especially when they're the team that's banned them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and also I think the Europeans, the Western scene in general, they do value their support players very highly. I'm not saying like Korea and some parts of China don't, but I do feel that balance. Maybe because I'm just Western. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I mean, I have a skewed perspective right out the gates, right? Like, I view it as like, no great team can, like, you're only as good as your support player, right? Is how I generally view it.
Is that how it is, Dread? Is that how it is?
Because, again, you have to rely on, they're the ones who have to be consistent every single game. Otherwise, you are unable to thrive. You cannot be the best player if you don't have the support behind you. So it's not that they are the most important role by any means, but to be a world-class player, almost always there's a world-class support right behind them.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I have no chance here. I just can't. I'm the only support hype man.
Support hype
man.
man.
Is going to be a solo laner potentially with the Dahaka pick. Solo lane, maybe a warrior too. I'm just not sure which or what out of all of those things.
No, I agree. I was just going to take a minute to appreciate the fact that with the Dahaka and the Tyrael, a lot of the top laners that I would traditionally match into them, I don't really like with the composition of Genji's, or with the Genji, specifically just having the Leoric itself. But, you know, Nazeebo works pretty well with that. I just didn't think it was worthy of the ban, especially because both Dahaka and Tyrael are very successful into the Leoric, so it seemed like a very comfortable pick to let SPT have, but Deadlykittens doesn't want anything to do with it.
Picks following up, you think?
Well, don't need to say anything. They're going for the straight Vala Oriole, a very strong 4-man in the Deadlykittens side here. And I was just going to say, the Leoric ban does make a little bit of sense. Their counterparts, E-Star, they were picking Leoric top lane on Dragonshire quite a few times. Both games, actually, if I recall correctly. And at least one of those games, I remember in the E-Star game, he was outlaning Zalia, so he was winning on the Leoric against the Dahaka 1 versus 1 situation. So I can kind of understand them banning it out for that reason.
Any thoughts on this last pick, Gilly?
Yeah, that's a toughie. It's still likely going to be their solo laner. Yeah, Sonya. And that is something that they have, they being SPT, have played on Dragonshire before. Like I was talking about, they have the dual lane. In this instance, they have Genji, who can make pretty quick rotations back and forth between the lanes.
Yep.
The lanes are pretty close together on Dragonshire. He has a lot of mobility. So the Deadlykittens are really going to have to watch out and make sure they keep eyes on Genji so that they don't get caught man down in skirmishes.
Which draft are we favoring for anybody?
Deadlykittens. I really like a lot of what they have in their composition with the Dahaka, Tyrael, Greymane, and they've got a little bit of the backing. I know we don't have a Tassadar, nor do we have a Zarya, but part of the reason I know I'm a Tyrael hype guy too. I think that him being up in that rotation instead of the Malfurion, which we discussed, allows you to move into the Ariel Vala a lot easier than if you than any other type of pick. Right? So I thought that was a really nice move. It allows that ban to come out and then to still move into that. You still have some kind of pseudo support to aid that duo.
It feels like they got a massive amount of power picks on their side. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think for me personally, just because of what I saw from the Genji from Melody C there, I'm pretty close to a 50-50. You have to remember this is Dragonshire. If they make it to 20, I suddenly favor their draft. So
Right.
Yeah, it's very close for me.
All right, so going to start with the predictions. Gilly?
Oof, man. I'm still feeling the Kittens. I think it's going to be the Kittens. I like their drafting again. It does feel like they've stabilized and found their place within the meta.
Dread?
I'm going to go with Deadlykittens, just especially because in the last game, I think Simba's performance on Stitches, I mean, he basically only was hooking a Nubarak, even when a Nubarak was dodgeable in a lot of cases. So that gave me a really strong step back away from SPT.
And Fan?
For me, I think overall, I'm going to go with super perfect team this time. I think for Deadlykittens to win, they have to drive the tempo of the game. They have to really understand how to aggressively push their advantages and end the game before 20. And from what I've seen, I'm not quite confident they can do that.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. We can check in once again with chat to see how they're currently predicting things going down. And SPT winning out at the moment with a 70-30, even though Deadlykittens currently 1-0 in the lead. We are now going to head over to the casting desk as we have Tetcha and Grubby ready to go.
The chat may have faith in the Super Perfect team, even if over half of our analyst desk does not. We will see if Fan has made the correct choice. For now, though, we head into Dragonshire as Stitches gets walled in the first couple seconds.
All right, Nazeebo, you mentioned that maybe Nazeebo would be going for Toad build, but let's see who actually plays on him first of all. On Nazeebo, it's going to be Chen Xiao, Melody C is on Genji, Simon Stitches, ZZH on Kara team, and Wings on Sonya. It is the team from China, Super Perfect Team.
Whereas on the right-hand side, it is going to be Deadlykittens with Enavir on Dahaka, Mur on Tyrael, NSJ on Greymane, Zaze on Valor, and Stronger on Ariel. It's Spiders. It's fair, it's a much larger map. The last time they went Toad build, it was on Battlefield of Eternity, where there were always going to be forced choke points. So it still does work here, but it does mean they are waiting for that 16 power spike.
Okay, so standard build, even if not the most standard of picks, Nazeebo in the first rotation is not something I thought I would wake up to today.
No, it is quite a weird one with Valor available, seeing as she got left. Mer gets hooked. Simba begins to retreat.
He better get used to that. He's been getting hooked a lot this game already and the last game. Never really seemed to bother him that much, though, to play with Stitches. Nom, 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 nom. Nice spiders.
Delicious Archangel, or Archdemon, I guess it would be with this particular skin. But right now, Tyrael, a little bit of just harassment onto Nazeebo as he rotates between the lanes, just keeping Super Perfect Team on their toes. Whereas in the top lane, Wings does Sonya things as Enavir chills back and waits to do Dahaka things.
Yeah, he might have played it a bit different if there wasn't a strong roamer like Genji, but he really shows the respect this time of that kind of pressure. He knows, Dahaka knows, his role is to have some uptime on that shrine, not to die. He knows that his Vala-Ariel combination has the power to win the 4-man. So as long as he doesn't take structural damage, he's banking on the fact that Deadlykittens gets the better 4-man.
Indeed, and right now they are pushing up this lane crazily. Zombie walls have been good onto Zaze, but he's been also insanely efficient at focusing down individual zombies to free himself if he does actually get caught, as opposed to the standard Hero League technique of panic and attempt to run through the zombies that are blocking your path.
There's a few ways to deal with it. Either don't get in it, kill a zombie, or stand in the middle and hold position. You will take less damage. Yeah. Or if you can't stand in the middle, at least do something. Damage someone. Yeah. But yeah, generally in Hero League, people like try to take maximum zombie damage while turning off their brains. In the meantime, think of this. Zombie Wall gets countered pretty nicely by Ariel. Every time she uses her Sacred Sweep, she gets a lot of energy damaging those zombies. So I'm really liking Deadlykittens' support choice here, and they've already taken out the entire wall.
Yeah,
nice
they have been crazy aggressive. The Valor Ariel, it's already an insane combo, and against a hero that has to basically wait until the late game, they are having a pretty wonderful time. On the other hand, the top lane for Super Perfect Team is going pretty reasonably. Sonya's doing well. She's managed to avoid all gank attempts by dodging out the stuns and making sure she doesn't get killed, taking a little bit of ammo from the top lane, while the rest of Deadlykittens begin work on mercenaries, capturing that for the bot lane. Super Perfect Team following suit, taking them a little bit longer as they started a bit later and had one less person.
Now, Enavir's doing a good job in the top lane. He uses his Dahaka to soak the damage of the minions, rather than letting the minions run to the towers all the time and easily relying on them to help. He has made sure that there's plenty of ammunition on his towers by making sure they never get in range. So he's doing his part. Back to the bottom lane. Vala-Ariel pushing in with Siege Camp. They have already killed the Siege Giants by SPT.
They have. Hook, this time landed. Zombie will drop to try and predict the vault. Just off target though, and as such, this push shall continue.
Tyrael with the shields on the Giants soon. Can cast Righteousness to empower pushes like this.
Yeah, waiting for it though until damage comes in. Ariel, however, cannot heal the Giants. Instead, they leave the one that was poisoned to die, pull the other one into fort range to kill it off even quicker.
Gank on Dahaka, but he uses his essence to regenerate from 50 to 80%. A very meticulous game by both teams so far.
Indeed, first blood yet to be achieved, although Melody C, he Cypher Agilities over the wall and shall escape. Oh, he's so low in the cocktail! He was in the bot lane, dude! With Wings able to survive as well. And it is Nazeebo taken down. Genji very nearly joining him.
Yeah, he had big guts to be able to Hearthstone there with the feeling of safety. And he better praise his lucky stars that NSJ didn't have enough stacks on his Incendiary Elixir yet. Every stack of Cocktail Splash adds bonus damage, eventually reducing its cooldown if you hit 15 heroes with it. Now, double laser charge.
Karazim as well. They want NSJ. They get the kill while Stitches guards the turn in. They're looking for Edivir as well. This is but delaying the inevitable as they finish off Dehaka and even up the shrine count 1-1.
Nice move by SPT, getting the double takedown. Experience-wise, still pretty good for Deadlykittens, and they've used this time to grab the bruiser camp at the bottom. They're really turning up the heat. Fan, our analyst, said that they need to play very aggressive early on to understand their strength, and it looks like they are. Beautiful detainment strike, nearly getting the kill on Simba.
Well. They wanted to try and kill him with Eldritch, but his health was too high. And we actually saw there a lot of that, the fact that Detainment Strike was able to land was due to Tyrael dropping him so...
What is Karazim doing?
Karazim dying, apparently, but he's able to get out. But Tyrael actually went for Angel's Grace here, giving him that extra movement speed when he teleports, which was allowing him to body block very effectively. Melody C continues to deny this. No one's even near to a shrine, so this DK is just a foregone conclusion.
Very well played by Deadlykittens. They get level 10, they choose Crystal Aegis, Adaptation, Cursed Bullet, Sanctification, and Reign of Vengeance. SPT's own heroic is not quite available yet, and they're standing here to lose their second fort.
It is creeping towards them, though. They're getting there. The DK is getting down to half health, but they do guarantee a 4. Gargantuans in position, dropping NSJ very quickly. And as such, Dragon Knight has to pull back.
Wrath of the Berserker, Dragon Blade.
Yep. No overcommitment with, or not overcommitment, no hard engage commitment like we saw from Super Perfect Team yesterday. Instead, these are fairly standard ones. They're attempting to win this game straight up.
Okay, so the game plan is as was envisioned. SPT has two very strong late game heroes. Nazeebo, his power spike comes at level 16. He gets twice as fast cooldown regeneration on his spider colony, as long as he's fairly healthy, not too much hurt. So that is a very strong power spike, more spiders. Sonya, for her part, is a fantastic damage dealer. I liken her sometimes to a melee mage, but she lacks the survivability to really stand on the front lines for long, until she gets Nerves of Steel at 16 and Ignore Pain at 20. That makes her a powerhouse late game. Meantime though, Deadlykittens wants to make something happen early. Stitches gets deleted. Nice Divine Ball.
But where'd you go from here? Simba drops.
Very good move by Deadlykittens. They need to keep doing things like this so they don't sleep on the late game power spike of SPT.
Nice little cyber agility there, dodging the hungering arrow of Zaze. And yeah, Deadlykittens beginning to sneak ahead, and they need to try and get further ahead to put themselves in a good position before we start getting to those level 16s, before we start getting to those level 20s that a Super Perfect team would be looking for.
I love what Deadlykittens was doing there. They pretended to rotate, checked if they maybe had an opportunity to attack at bottom keep.
Stun yet. Small stun. Not a huge amount of BT. Both teams just sort of posturing more than actually hard engaging. Never mind. Lots of damage onto Greymane. The deflect has to be dropped by Melody C. He's killed by the Valor auto attack though. And that is going to be the only kill in this fight by the looks of it, as everyone else in Super Perfect Team backs up. Greymane surviving by the skin of his teeth.
That is why you take Sanctification against Greymane. It completely nullified the value of Dragon Blade, and that keen final auto attack from Vala took him down.
Nicely done indeed. So, shrines just spawning. Tyrael in position for bot shrine. Top shrine already being taken by Dehaka, and Greymane in the mid lane with no one trying to stop him. Stitches looks like he may go there. No, he's not even going to get there in time, even if he did. Second Dragon Knight of the game, once again picked up by NSJ, and he is heading to the top lane with it.
And they're peeling away all the all the first lines of defenses from SPT, the 3 forts, the fountains, those things that allow SPT to be on the map with a little bit less fear, a place to pull back towards. And Deadlykittens have peeled away that layer. The Dragon Knight still, 95%, 40 seconds. They can start working on keep walls. A very crucial time of the game here for SPT. They're looking to get their level 13. at the same time, all they can do is defend. They need to hold out. And we see this time and time again this tournament. With Nazeebo, the team fails to get an early game lead and falls behind. And they hope to get to the lane, but will Deadlykittens give it to them?
We will have to see. Deadlykittens attempting not to as they put some pressure onto that mid lane. While Zahaka continues to soak bot. Hook onto Mer, who just angels away doing his standard Tyrael things, which is mostly not dying. That is the main part of Tyrael's things.
Very interesting build by Tyrael as well. We never see that level 7, that movement speed, Angel's Grace.
Yeah, working out for him though, giving him some good body blocks, and allowing him to be very mobile on the map. Greymane trying to also put himself in position to drop harassment. He does not have Curse Bullet, gets hooked in. Zombie Ball too slow though. Sanctification already here, and Genji is removed from existence. Stun onto Sonya, but the Palm this time saves her. Well, we're trying to do something here, but she's completely outnumbered. There's the Aegis on the one time she could kill. That the Drag trying to save her. Wrath of the Berserker though, allowing her to attack her way through the stuns, but she still goes down. Nazeebo shall follow. Full team wipe by Deadlykittens.
Nice try though by Sonya. Nearly got the camp, which could be nice. Also got the kill on Greymane. Lots of healing there. A taste of what could be to come in the future. But for now, just wonderful management here by Deadlykittens. Crystal is doing massive damage. They are going for the min-max. They want to get as many kills as they can, and they're chasing down Nazeebo there.
So an interesting move there by Sonya, and I want your opinion on it. She actually moved off the camp to spawn it so that she could get more healing. Is the damage the camp would do to her more than she would be able to regen from it? Would that assist her in surviving if she hadn't died straight away?
I don't think so.
Don't think so? Okay.
No, I'm just remembering the times I took a camp with Sonya Whirlwind. She does have the upgrade though. It might be possible.
Maybe.
But at the same time, if she, I mean, she could never capture
Fury
herself.
generation, I guess, as well.
I guess more ferocious healing. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, might have just been a misclick. Who knows? Either it was either strategic, it was either incredibly strategic and just unlucky that she died so early, or a bit of a misclick. Either way, it didn't work.
There's more factors anyway. He could be looking to dodge Detainment Strike from
Very
Ariel.
true.
Ariel, by the way, going for Will of Heaven, 20% attack speed on Vala.
Giving Vala lots of damage. Vala, not an auto attack build, by the way, but it gives her just even more utility, and it also works for Greymane if he decides to go in, as he has gone for Alpha Killer.
Well, the cool thing, too, is you get the quicker hatred generation thanks to the talent, which gives her stronger multi-shots. So, in essence, it's also ability power.
Yeah, very cool. The min-maxing from Deadlykittens. Very nice. A super perfect team. Clearing out this top lane, trying to deal with any trouble as we're looking at a familiar moment of a Dragon Knight attempt by Deadlykittens. This time, though, it shall be Mer as opposed to NSJ as they begin to move through the mid lane down to the bot.
Level 16 is close for SPT. If they can keep 3 keeps alive after this Dragon Knight, they can count their lucky stars. How can they do this? Melodici is hoping to pressure the backline. Nope, he will just jump past them.
Wings coming in as well. There is the punt onto Zhen Zhao, and he's able to keep himself alive for the moment, continuing to poke. Zombie Wall to block the Dragon Knight, gives himself an opportunity. Dragon Knight does not care, though. It is unblockable. As Melodici once again a punt onto Nazeebo, as Dragon Blade has been procced. Melodici, though, not going super hard onto it. Simba dropped low. Palm is not procced, actually, but it was used. So it does get Simba out, but it means Palm is no longer available. They're looking for it, though, into the backline. Low heroes here. Deflect is dropped here. When is that E available? Doesn't even matter. Karazim goes in and gets the kill. He is blinded now, though, having to pull back. Cocktail does some damage and fully stacks NSJ. LDC from behind. Here come the Shuriken hook once again onto Mer. This is familiar as they try to chase him down. Speed boost, and he gets out. Mer doing his best Lucio impression.
Angel's Grace, 140% movement speed. Easy to get out. Very nicely done by SPT. Let's look at what they achieved. They keep it still alive with half-life. They got a kill. They've got level 16 Nazeebo finally. Nerves of Steel on Sonya as well. Sanctification is great.
No healing for Sonya if she spins on the Sank, so she waits it out and is able to survive this. Simba getting dropped. Here comes the Crystal Aegis, and it is Greymane that goes down first. Mer is chased down, but there's so many low heroes. His explosion could be game-changing here, but never mind. It's just a hacker, and he gets finished off as well. And it's super perfect team's time for a complete team wipe.
So far, Super Perfect Team is 0-5 in maps. They've lost the first 2 series and they're down here. They are still looking for their first map victory as well. They've given that to Deadlykittens, or at least it was taken from them with blood, sweat and tears. Now they're hungry for their own map victory here. And this was a willful fight taken by Deadlykittens. They were on the map as 4 without Vala on the side of SPT.
Yeah, and this is, I would actually like to call out, we can actually see them from where we are casting. There is a significant attitude difference from when we saw them play against the Korean team to where we're seeing them play now. There is no laughter or joking. We have stone cold shot calling right now. They're in a rough position, trying to get their way to 20 before Deadlykittens do, and grabbing any camp they can to put themselves in a position to maybe grab their first Dragon Knight.
They know they have a really realistic chance here. They feel more confident, and this drives home the point, the stress of the situation. Now, Deadlykittens, if they don't interrupt mid, that's a Dragon Knight. It's a Dragon Knight.
It's a Dragon Knight. It's going to be on Simba as he begins to move in, and everyone is able to get out as well. Tyrrell attempting to block for someone in. Was not able to as they move up to maybe test Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight taking a very long way round to bot though. This is right now not a push to set up for an end game. This is a push to set up for an earlier 20 to maybe attempt to take a team fight, which can allow them to set up some push for the to try and end the game.
Yeah, normally these Dragon Knights, they run out of HP before they run out of steam. So taking the long way around to save the HP a bit to some poke is perfectly fine. Level 20 is going to be reached for both teams.
Yeah.
Deadlykittens is allowed not to take this fight yet.
The cocktail damage is scary. LDC also getting poked. DK punts away Valor. Dahaka is also not here, but Super Perfect Team, they don't want to take the risk. Dahaka from behind could be devastating. Dragon Knight is already dead, and 20 is hit by the Kittens. Super Perfect Team, they leave.
Mir is looking for the engage, but he is unable to do so with that Putrid Bile zoning him out. And we've gotten to the point, Tetcher, where level 20s have been reached. Vala with the Farflight Quiver, 2.2 extra attack range. Holy Arena, longer sanctification with bonus damage. We've got Hunter's Blunderbuss, Shield of Hope, and Apex Predator. And now level 20 for SPT as well.
And it is time for a celebratory as Vile Infection has been fully stacked, and that could be the saving grace for Super Perfect Team.
Look at that. Tyrael takes 1 Spiders and loses nearly a quarter of his health bar while running away. That means if he stands still, it's more than a quarter.
That is very scary. And other talents we have the Dragon Becomes Me from Genji, Bolt of the Storm from the Stitches for even more aggression, or to potentially save him as he has been focused a bit here. Ignore Pain from Sonya, and Storm Shield from Karazim. Lots of survivability, and on the side of Zebo, of course, lots of damage. Hook on Ariel, that's a good target. Aegis is available. No follow-up, though. Instead, here comes Dahaka from behind. Is he able to get the drag? He finds Stitches. He has Bolt, though, if he needs to. The cocktail doing crazy damage. Stitches moving on to the sanctification as it is dropped. Valor taking huge damage to the backline as ZZH is focused down, palms on him. He's able to survive. The Shield of Hope from Ariel, keeping everyone alive, and it's a full retreat from Super Perfect Team. Valor poison.
Dahaka burrowed and the Spiders found a new and juicier target. Vala got absolutely hammered there by those Spiders. And I love Tetra. I love Tetra. I love what what SPT. Oh, thanks, man. I love what SPT is doing here. They're forcing fights, attacking Deadlykittens even under their own fort, and they have to do it. They don't have a global. They've got their level 20 power spike. They will never win a map control fight against the Haka, so they will continue to look for these aggressive engagements. What I would like to see SPT do here is control the shrine, attack top fort. But I understand the Hearthstone. Siege camp is coming, second is available, and if they go for a fort, the Haka could interrupt their backs long enough for Deadlykittens to take down a keep.
Wings moves on to the point, drops the Whirlwind already.
Thank you very much.
Been hooked over the wall. They're trying to take it back. And ZZ8 drives away NSJ. The camp stolen away. The
They
sneaky
want to zone
moving
out.
to mid. Can they do it? LDC is in position to deny. Storm Shield already dropped here. Cocktails like crazy damage. Here is the Shield of Hope quite early, maybe. Not getting a huge amount of value, but ZZ8 is being forced away.
Stitches!
Gargantuan is distracted by minions. Stitches from very low. Bolt of the Storm saves him.
Bolt of the Storm Stitches. Enjoy it.
Drag! Oh,
Oh,
the
Dragon Blade.
Berserker saving him. Dragon Blade. Sanctification. Try and counter it. Sonya trying to
Sonya!
move away. Palm on her. The Hungry Arrow procs it. Sonya moves back in with the Whirlwind. She's shredding through the backline, but Dahaka with the drag.
Wow!
Able to
Sonya
isolate
goes
her.
down.
The Aegis saving NSJ on such low health. And it's retreat once again for Super Perfect Team. MVC still denying this
So
DK.
annoying. Just let me get the dragon now.
He goes in, he gets
Wow!
kill and dies.
Okay. The
They're
spiders
still
though.
trying.
The
It's so
spiders.
much damage. Karazine onto Mur. He is
Nazebo!
dropped. The curse bullet does so much damage. Down goes to Haka too.
Whoa!
How
Whoa!
much damage? Down goes Stitches. And Zendao barely surviving.
word.
The keep supplies on almost no health too. And everything is going, I'd say right, but everything's going kind of crazy. Too
Da, da, da,
and the
da,
President
da.
on Shield of Hope, that's a big shield this time. Karazim to a minion to escape. Cocktail just coming short.
Okay.
Yep, reset a bit.
Chen
Calm
Xiao
down.
takes the shrine, and he's got to get the heck out of dodge. He greets out on the minions though, throws a little bit of this and that, like witch doctors are known to do,
Yeah.
but he gets out.
Someone kind of needs to go bot and cap that as quick as possible. They're going to be really slow. It looks like they're just going to group mid instead and deny it there. With Valor not up for another 5 seconds. If a attempt is made on this DK with Nazebo's damage, there is a small chance of a quick blow up. Instead, we just see Deadlykittens taking the fact that they have both altars as a opportunity to go grab a camp without fear of being interrupted.
Something Deadlykittens has been doing all game very well. Keep getting Merc camps while threatening their position on the map. By not showing in lane, they can do those things while SPT has to defend and zone out. But now, for one of the first times in the game, besides the first Dragonite that SPT just got a few minutes ago, we've got double blue laser channeling again in an equal situation.
Dahaka already in position though, able to take that back easily. And Dahaka, as a reminder, he did go for the Apex Predator. He is all over the map, making it so difficult for Super Perfect Team to have any opportunity to get a DK without first killing Dahaka.
Now this wave is big enough to, by itself, along with the siege camp, kill the bottom cube. Something that has, surprisingly, amazingly, not been done yet.
Top keeps looking a little rough as well, but at least it's alive. Here comes a bit of a move in. The Eldoran's Might scouts it out. Sonya begins to clear the lane.
This is a very good place
bullet, though.
to fight for Deadlykittens. They've got double camps. A lot of distraction for Nazebos' IEs.
The Future Bile already dropped it. Helps clear the lane, but it also gives Stitches movement speed, which is what he was using it for to help him escape. And guess where Darker is? Of course, somewhere else.
Such an Apex Predator, taking that top once again.
Indeed, but immediate trade out as bot was abandoned. They did not want to take the 4v5 while the hacker was in top lane, so instead it is once again a trade out. And right now, these teams continuing to look even, and as long as that bot keep doesn't die, it's going to stay like this until someone wins a team fight.
That's the longest time I've ever seen a house stand on a shoddy swamp.
It is what it is. Oh, hang on. Mur is hooked. Eldoran's Might speed boost moving through the blind coming in there. And they are able to live again. Genji actually came back down from thinking about getting that top shrine.
This is very
a rough
awkward.
situation.
Very awkward for SPT. They're sending someone top. Genji is top. Deadlykittens knows this.
Just needs to, I think he should just neutralize and come back down, maybe. He can't afford to leave it, but
Yeah,
no, he does.
I thought
get
so
the
too,
entire thing.
but Deadlykittens was hurt and they wanted to clear siege camp, so they weren't ready to take that momentary fight before, right?
Yeah, Genji is pretty good at rotating around the map. He can just jump over and dash, and that basically covers most of the distance. We'll be down some abilities, hooks, attempting to land. And this could be the win condition for Super Perfect Team. One good hook on Ariel.
True.
And if they're able to stun her with the spear before she's able to Aegis, they have a good chance of killing her.
Dahaka still has his Z available. He's going top. There we go. So there will only be 2 seconds of blue laser charge.
No, they wait it out. They've waited it out. Shrine of Zone, look for a kill in Dex. They know Dahaka is now top. The cursed bullet sends Sonya packing back to the mid lane.
That'll take SPT a little bit to heal up for Sonya. Dahaka's next burrow in 4 seconds, Tetsu. This is insane pressure on SPT, but they're holding on so well. 24 minutes, level 23 on each side, and all keeps still standing.
We are basically at a point where if a team's able to get the Dragon Knight, it's going to be doing almost 1,000 damage to structures if it's able to move in per auto attack. So the question is, which team can? Dahaka can basically consistently deny Super Perfect Team, but Deadlykittens, they're in a rough position themselves. Dahaka's not with them all the time, but now Super Perfect Team making an attempt. Genji coming in. Stitches drops low. The palm saves him again, though. Sank is not on anyone else. Dragonblade gets the kill on Ariel. No more protection. Tyrael goes down. He's trying to mainly see the deflection blocks it, though. And ZZH in the backline has to retreat, but Dahaka goes down. Super Perfect Team, they're going to get that altar there, get that shrine, and make their attempt at a Dragon Knight. Both the damage dealers alive. Greymane will have Cursed Bullet. He's going to be able to chunk that Dragon Knight. And the keeps all still have walls. There's still protection here for Deadlykittens.
But this is 35 seconds without 3 members on Deadlykittens. What a fight! Deadlykittens threw everything on trying to destroy Stitches, but the Divine Palm was way too good.
Where is that Cursed Bullet? It doesn't hit the Dragon Knight, it hits Simba. That might be the play that ruins it here for Deadlykittens.
There is Hunter's Blunderbuss. If he starts auto-attacking, it could do some pretty good damage, but he's afraid to commit.
And the core begins to take damage first of the game.
Oh,
and
that's gotta be it.
Junk over
Super Perfect Team!
Hit Super Perfect Team. ZZH even palms himself. That is GG. And Super Perfect Team take their first game, their first match of the HGC Mid-Season Brawl. Nice by them. That secures them 1 point with the series going a 1-1. Nice.
Very nice comeback. They managed to survive to the late game and get some of that sweet Nocebo damage in.
106,000 hero damage, 177,000 siege damage. Someone beat him though. Greymane, 200,000 siege damage, 110,000 hero damage. What a series we had there. An amazing comeback and then one of the closest games of this entire tournament, Grubby.
Yeah, I loved Tetcher, that series very much.
That was super good. To talk about it more, we're sending you guys over to the Analysis Concave, headed by Kalaris.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much, guys. Indeed, 1-1 at the very end, but to be honest, it could have gone either way, considering what we actually saw there in game number 2. Deadlykittens, for the longest time, seemed to have a good handle on that game, but could not round it out, Dread.
I mean, I flat out feel like I had moments in the game watching the rotations of Deadlykittens that were cleaner than, I mean, they could, if they did it the entire game, they would be a world-class team on that map. It was amazing, the rotations. I just don't know what happened in the moments where they stopped it. There was literally a minute and a half where I thought they were playing absolutely flawless, and then they decide that they see SPT look at a fort that is useless at that point of the game, and they suddenly go, we have to fight here. It was so, almost every time SPT moved out, they were like, oh, we have to fight, and they ignored their game plan, and then they got 1 second back to normal, and then it was too late with the 20 spike. I've never seen a team so polar of just brilliance and then just like, what's going on here?
And then, of course, SPT getting themselves that 20. We saw how much damage Nocebo was doing. Very hard for Deadlykittens afterwards to try and round it out after that kind of moment in the game.
Yeah, you could see when Deadlykittens all of a sudden switched from we'll fight to we really don't want to fight this. We want to try to just manipulate the map with our global. But I also think SPT did a good job in fights focusing Vala so that their Hope target, who they would prefer to be building Hope, would just fall apart for the team after that. And being able to take a fight when Deadlykittens weren't 20, and forcing a lot of those abilities to be used and Vala wasn't there was, for me, the really big turning point for SPT.
Well, Fan, as always, you do have a replay for us, sir.
Yep, so the replay I have here is one of the turning points of the game, I think. So you can see, if we can just pause right here for a second. So this is one of the best opportunities to end the game before Nocebo gets level 20. We see a Dragon Knight here pushing in along with a level advantage, 3-level advantage, and a talent tier advantage. So this is your power play. You want, at minimum, 1 keep here. So what I want to focus on here is Melody C as we keep rolling the replay. He's going to jump in here. They realize they have to fight. And just like Gilly said, Melody C realizes that Hope generation is super important. So you're going to see him in here. He's going to focus on the Vala immediately. Try and chunk out the Vala as much as possible. You can see He's getting him lower and lower. He's not killing him, but he got him to the point where Valla has to be very careful. And right now, Oreo has low amounts of energy. The second important thing is pause right here. So we see what happened here was Greymane, who was originally close to 100% HP, he rolled in and then tried to kill the Stitches here with a cask. He forced the palm, so that part was good, but in doing so, he took 70% of his HP. And now we're at a situation where your Valla is less than half health, your Greymane is 30% HP, and your Oreo has no energy. And as Oreo, you are at the mercy of your damage dealers. So if we roll on the clip, even though they're 2 levels up now, you know, they got the same talent tier. Your damage dealers are so low, there's nothing they can do. You have no energy, you have no healing. All of a sudden, even though your front line is healthy, this fight is gone. And then all Melody C has to do is tap. And, you know, eventually they turn the fight around. They only get 1 kill off of this, but it was enough to stop the snowball and get to 20 and reach that power spike.
Well, we are indeed joined by Jin Xiao here, as well as our lovely translator. Of course, we have a 1-1 situation here. Going into this series against Deadlykittens, how did you see the series overall? Because there was a lot of fighting, a lot of deaths between the two teams, pretty evenly matched.
那你们跟 DK 这个队伍打了1比1的成绩，那你打了他们过后呢？你们的觉得表现如何？而且你觉得你们的实力是相差在哪里呢？
我觉得对第一把来说，我觉得表现的不太满意，因为第一把我们是前期大优势，然后后面是被翻盘，是我们自己打的有点太急了。然后第2把是我们觉得我们最强的地图就是巨龙阵，然后拿出巨龙阵，我就觉得我们肯定会赢，只不过赢得比较难而已。
So when we faced DK in the first game, I think we threw the game really hard because we had a really good early game advantage, but we were too anxious and so we couldn't end the game and we lost. But for the second map, we chose Dragonshire and it's our strongest map. We're really comfortable with it, so I was really confident that we will win.
Okay, Fan?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of cool picks from SPT, and we've seen that day-to-day their play is getting better. So how are they feeling about the tournament now that they've had a few days to play against people? They're missing Misaka, you know, but it seems like they're getting more comfortable. So how do they feel in the tournament in general?
那过了几天打了这几场，那他们是觉得你们是每一天都有进步，虽然是少了这个米萨卡这个选手嘛，那你觉得你们表现在将来的那些场怎么打呢？
我们现在这5个人就是米萨卡不在，我们现在5个人就是打完这个比赛之后，回去还是跟米萨卡一起。但是在这里我们5个人还是会每天都训练，然后是争取多练几个套路什么的。然后我们那个替补选手也看到，第1天他是只会乌瑟尔什么的，然后现在他会缝合怪了，到后面他可能会更多的英雄什么的。
So of course, without Misaka here, we were still practicing our strategies, and you can see our improvements is in our substitute. At first, he only know how to play Uther, and we only pick Uther for him, but today we pick Stitches for him, so maybe in future games he will be picking different heroes as well.
Okay, that's good to hear. So moving forwards, you have 2 days left of the group stage. You get yourself 1 point here. Do you think that you're going to be able to do enough against the next teams to get yourself a top 4 spot? How do you see it working out?
那今天打了有积了1分嘛？那你觉得你们还有什么机会能晋级的吗？好像明天能累积到什么分数吗？
我觉得我们第1天打 Nomia 输了2比0之后，我就觉得我们8强基本上没希望了。现在只是为了打得更好看一点嘛，也不枉此行什么的。
I think after the first game, the first series in the tournament where we lost against Nomia 0-2, I think our chances of qualifying are pretty small, almost non-existent. So now we just want to put on a good show and put on a good fight.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Shen Xiao, and thank you very much as we